G'day, welcome to Inside Ball. Well, we have a major sponsor who is a big part of Queensland, who is a big part of the Inside Ball. This episode is brought to you by Kratzmann Caravans.
Oh, we love vanning. Caravanning,
RV
Dobbo.
Super Centre out of Burpengary. You should go out there. For over 40 years, they have been a starting point for everybody, Kev, that wants to caravan and go on a motorhome adventure. So you talk about where you go. If you want to start, you just go to Kratzmann. You just go absolutely out there. Their Super Centre out of Burpengary is elite. You can see them.
On the highway, mate. I drive past it all the time going up to visit Caloundra.
Mate, unbelievable part of the world. You're straight out there. You're on the Bruce. It's right there. It's on your right-hand side. And you know what? When you're driving up, it's on your left-hand side. When you're coming back to Brisbane, it's right there. Don't miss their great caravan and RV end of financial year sale. So a lot of you who listen to this, you're thinking, what do I do? Do I buy a caravan? Mate, end of financial year's coming up.
Tax time.
Write it off, however you want to do it. You can do whatever. Find yourself a good accountant. Kratzmann are the people who you need to go and see. Their biggest sale event of the year, up to $20,000 off new and used caravan. Not 5, not 10, up to $20,000 off their end of financial year sale, new and used. They're there. Just go and give them a call. Go and see them. Go out there. Tell them you listen to Inside Ball, and you're a huge chance. Kratzmann's RV Super Centre, just up the highway at Burpengary. Start your journey today. They're proud sponsors of the Inside Ball. They're the first on board. You know what they said? We love it that much. We're on board with you, Kevie. We're on board with you, Ben Dobbin. We're on board. So thank you to Kratzmann, and thank you. Go and see them. Their RV Super Centre, end of financial year sale, huge savings, new and used caravans. Why not start your off-road adventure today with Kratzmann? I can tell you now, they are the best. Don't listen to me. Listen to Kev. Go and see them. They are the best. That's where I'd be saying. Thank you for being a big part of Inside Ball. Let's get on with the show.
Let's go, Dobbo.
Oh, round 10 done and dusted of the Inside Ball. Happy Mother's Day to everybody yesterday. And I mean that to the mums, my mum, to all the mothers of my kids. Happy Mother's Day. Hey, Kev, how are you, mate?
No, I'm good, Dobbo. Yeah, nice day yesterday for all the mums, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you do something last night? Was the Walter's Mother's Day?
I just had a pizza last night. Mate.
Pizza?
Yeah, that's what NRL wanted. So
yeah, that's what she got. Where'd you get the pizza from?
Oh, homemade pizzas. We make it.
Really? Yeah. We might have a Kev's cooking segment a little later.
We've done the pizzas already.
Come on, mate.
They're
if you're going to
simple.
trot that out, mate, like I'm a very simple cheese pizza. Mate, I'm going to say this.
What a weekend of rugby league, Dobbo. Is that what you're going to say?
The best football I've seen, bar the blowout, right? Melbourne just, I always go to the Kevin Walters book of stats.
They're gone.
Up they get beaten.
Put a line through them.
Yeah. But other than that game, I'm going to go as far as saying it's the best round of football I've ever watched.
Right. That's a big call.
Because you think about the games, and Kev, just to get your opinion on this, the referees didn't go to the pocket, mate. Nobody went to the bin. No. And so we were 13 on 13, which just makes it so much more even. Every game that there's a thing, he went to the bin or players
go. It's just a huge advantage when someone gets sin bin to
the
opposition team,
Thank God it took 10 weeks, but thank God the NRL have gone, you know what? We need to make this as even as possible. And the results show.
Yeah.
The results showed.
And the results also showed teams coming back from 14-0 down, 20-0 down. We saw the Titans come back, didn't they? That win over the Knights on Thursday night, that was amazing stuff. Or was it Friday night?
Thursday night. Can we please just give you a little wrap? Okay, I'm going to wrap you.
Well, hang on.
You stuck loyal to the new Queensland teams early on. You backed the Dolphins.
Yep.
I just absolutely rubbished them. You backed the Titans. I don't know how the bloody hell you did that. Titans beating Newcastle, just unbelievable in Newcastle.
Sensational win. What about Tino? We'll get to them. Anyway.
Let's go through the results of the weekend. And it started on Thursday night with the Dolphins upsetting Parramatta.
Yep.
And you picked this. You said this was going to happen, and it did. So 20 points to 16.
Yep.
Then we got the Titans 20 points.
Wait on. on that one.
You want to go?
Talk about Herbie and the Hammer. They
Go.
won the game for the. I mean, the Dolphins fought back well, but Herbie did some magic things in that game. The try that he scored to get them back into the game, and then the tackle late in the game to stop a rampaging Eels play. I forget who it was, the Eels centre. It was a magnificent tackle. It was a try saver. And then the Hammer at the depth, again another try saver. His speed is amazing, Dobbo.
Well, he's in the side.
How good is he going to be for Queensland when he gets going there in the centres? You know?
That's next week. I'm looking forward to that. 20 points to 16. Dolphins win. They win their fourth game of the season. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I love the Dolphins, but they take on the Wars this week. That's going to be the test.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game for them, but they were good last week. You know, they'll come from behind and they needed to win. Obviously a bit of pressure coming on the club, but they responded magnificently. And the big players of the Dolphins stood up. The big players stood up. And their back five, most of them ran for over 100 metres. It was a great – that's one of the strengths of the Dolphins is their back five. Bostock, Herbie and Hammer – Jermaine Asako, he brings the ball back as strong as any winger. So those guys stood up, and that just gives you forward momentum. It gives your team confidence. And a couple of handy middles back in their side helped as well. But it was a good win by the Dolphins, much needed win.
Parramatta, I think you can put a line through them. They're not going to make the 8, and we knew that. But they sit at the bottom of the table. They're a much better side. They're just not going to be there.
They are. Well, they missed their halfback for 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah, and look, I think he'll be in the New South Wales side as well, which will cause them all. So I don't think Luai's.
Yeah, Laurie's got some selections to make there, some big ones, big calls.
So that game put aside, let's go to Friday night. We'll talk the first game. Titans 24, Knights 20. 20-0 up at half time.
Yeah, they were cruising the Knights.
Am I wrong in saying Brimson was offside? Like, Belinda Sharp, Brimson was offside, mate. He was in front of the kicker.
According to Belinda and the touchy, he wasn't. Right? Now, there's a lot of this creeping in.
Yeah, but, mate, they don't go upstairs. They don't go upstairs. This is my knock on it. And well done to the Titans. If they'd said no try and to have a look at it, then they rule on it. But because she pointed to the spot, they don't rule on it. And so, mate, Brimson, we all know, Kev, he was in front of the kicker.
Well, was he?
Oh, come on, Kev.
Well, mate, this is the debate. This is what it
Come on, Kev. I'm happy the Titans won, but it puts a pause on proceedings. Yeah, okay? It puts a pause on proceedings. Both those coaches are under the pump. Adam O'Brien is under enormous pressure.
Yeah.
Enormous pressure.
Well, he got relief last week, but it was only a
short period of time. They got beaten. They got run down 20-0. Yeah. And then Des, well, we know Des's problems, like what's going on there. There's a clause in his contract. He doesn't make the 8.
Well, they need to win a lot of games, don't they, to get into the 8 for Desi. But I was happy and pleased for Des and the Titans for their response. Like, I mean, the Knights fell apart in the second half, but the Titans were good enough to take advantage of that. And Brimson picked up 2 tries. Tino was in everything over 200
awesome.
metres.
Yeah,
he's awesome. Amazing. I can't wait to see him in a Maroons jersey as well, mate. That will be something to look forward to.
Do you think on Thursday you could just quickly you could pick an Origin team for me?
I will pick an Origin team on
Thursday. Do you think like when we do our review or preview? I'd love you to pick an Origin side.
Well, I'm going to pick my team, but we got our Origin tickets up, haven't we?
Yeah, we're going to give them away. So
we'll talk about that on Thursday.
24-20, I think both those sides are going to struggle. It was a low game.
No, well, it was a
low
tight game. As long
mate.
as the scores are tight. At 20-0, it looked like it was going to be a fizzer. But then the Titans scored a couple of tries. Sammy picked up a couple. The one try before half-time and the try after half-time got them back in the game.
Got him back in the game.
Gave them a sniff, and then they ran them down, mate. It was great stuff from the Titans to play for the whole 80 minutes. Bo Fermore's playing some good football. He's
in the Origin
put himself
side.
Into
so
Origin.
is Tino. Both those players make Origin.
Are they? Yeah, and Fodawaker as well, who's
and Mo.
in the frame. Good running meters from him. Their forwards actually did quite well for the Titans, so I was really happy for them. And I love the photo of Des, or the picture of Des after the game, that the cameras zoomed up into the box, and he's just sitting there, standing up, saying, like, I can't believe how that happened, Yeah. And after the game, his presser was amazing. He's been under a bit of, the whole club have been, and
rightly so.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine.
I get why you defend coaches. I get it.
You walk in the coach's shoes.
Well,
it's not easy, mate. You
no,
don't have a
thanks.
lot of friends.
No, thanks.
No, and it is. And I'll get this out there. When you do coach an NRL team or any type of coaching, there's a lot of pressure. And you know that before you take the job. So I get it. But when you actually get the job and sit in that position, you're under a lot of pressure. And
Can I ask you, I heard your comments on Fox on Thursday night. You were very clear about, because obviously the Desi story, you know, you are linked. You've been linked to that club. And you made it very clear that, you know, just to clarify, it annoyed the crap out of you that you have been linked and you've been talked about that.
It's disrespectful to those that are currently got jobs. And I understand how it all works, Dobbo, right? I understand how it all works, but it's disrespectful, you know, to be thinking like that. There'll be some coaches sacked this year. There will be. That's part
of the game. Yeah.
The last year there was 4. There'll probably be 4 more this year. I don't know how many there'll be, but there will be some coaches that get removed from their position.
But you were very adamant that you weren't going to talk about it because the coach...
It's disrespectful, mate. And I found that last year, when it started happening to me, it's disrespectful. Although mine was pretty quick. They just pulled the trigger and I was gone. But there was speculation about me for weeks. And, you know, I don't agree with it. I get it. That's how it works, how you media people work. But, you know, I'm not a fan.
Can I just pull you up on something? Last time I looked, you're employed by a TV network.
Yeah.
Fox. And a radio network.
Yep.
Triple M. And you do a podcast.
Yep.
Last time I looked, I'm employed by a TV network, Channel 9.
That's what I said.
Yep. Don't you media. You are a media person at this moment.
I'm not a...
You are as equal as me, what we do at the moment. So don't you and me and you, and this is what you do. You are in the same boat as me.
Yeah, but...
Okay, can I ask you about the Titans, or you're not just not going to talk about it?
Let's not talk about it.
Right, okay, that's it. Let's see. This is what you get. We ask the questions, we get that. Let's talk about the
Broncos.
Can we talk about it? Okay, I'm going to start, and then I want your opinion. I'm just going to talk about everything. I don't know, didn't know about this till yesterday, that the Broncos they were on a boat on the Wednesday. They went down on the Wednesday. 5-day turnaround, they went down early. Thursday, they did their captain's run down there. They played on Friday. 14-0 up at halftime. I don't think South could have played any worse.
No, they were pretty poor in the first half, South Sydney.
Whatever the master, Uncle Wayne, said at halftime, they win. Now, I'm not going to say it was... I know the score ended up 22-16, but we all saw Latrell's try at the end. He little fox and over. The hooter had gone. It was 16-14. It was Latrell Mitchell's show. What did you think?
Well, the Broncos, to me, just lost their way. They had a good score up at halftime, 14-0. They probably should have been up by a bit more, but they, for whatever reason, let's give South a little bit of credit. They defended well and kept them out. But the second half, they just lost their way, the Broncos. And I believe that Wayne Bennett said to his team at halftime, if you score the first try in the second half, you will win this game. So that was his halftime spiel, I'm led to believe.
Yeah. He told me that.
Okay.
He told me. I spoke to Wayne on Saturday morning. He said, mate, I said to him, the players felt, the playing group felt that Brisbane were vulnerable, even though they were leading.
Well, you do get a feeling as a player about the opposition and their mentality and whether they've come ready to play and play hard and play tough. So obviously that's been transferred into the coach, and Wayne's coached over 900 games. So Wayne's only got 2 types of speeches at halftime. He tells me this openly. One when you're in front and one when you're behind. That's his 2 speeches. And that it wouldn't have changed much in 900 games. So they would have had some belief sitting there at halftime. The Broncos should have been up by a lot more.
What's going on with the Bronx, Kev?
I just feel that they're not playing as a team. They're not playing the football that they're capable of as a team. It's a different style. They're still finding their identity under the new coach on what sort of...
What does that mean? What does that mean, mate?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in there, and I know that Billy's playing, but I stay out of it, Dobbo, because, you know, obviously I got moved on from there, so I don't want to be critical of them, and they're not playing as well as they should be. Clearly,
they're 5-5. They're 5-5.
Yeah,
right. And they've lost Honey now. I mean, if it's off the bone, they're saying 4 weeks. I'm saying 8.
Is it off the bone? Well,
off the bone.
It looked pretty bad when he went through.
Yeah, it's off the bone.
And grabbed it, and he hobbled off. So, but that's okay. They've got Ezra Mam. It'll run him out of the garage, out of the blocks, and into the team. So they're not going to lose.
I can't believe they played him yesterday. I mean that genuinely. Yeah, well, when you lose Ben Hunt on Friday night, like everybody knows he's coming. You went? Did you go to that game yesterday?
I was at Davies Park.
How'd he go?
He went well. He had a couple of little errors around him, which is to be expected when your first contact came back. But he was clearly a cut above everyone at Davies Park yesterday. A couple of things that he did were really special. He scored a try and he set up, I think, 2 or 3 others. And after about 55, 60 minutes, they just got him off, pulled him off. And
why would they have played him?
Well, risk of injury, mate.
Yeah, but why would they have played him for that reason? I wouldn't have played him.
Yeah.
When I lost Hunt, I'm like, you know what? The Ferrari, go and get a service. You're not going out on the track today.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that he did play, but he got through okay, and obviously he'll be in the team next week to take on.
What would have happened if he'd done his knee? Jock Madden's got a pec injury. He's gone. Like, I'm being genuine about this. Like, I know.
Who's got a pec injury?
Jock Madden's gone for 12 weeks with a pec.
Oh, has he?
Yeah. So Jock Madden's out for 12 weeks.
When did that happen over the weekend?
It happened on last week. Training.
At training?
Pec gone.
At training? Wow. Okay.
So Jock Madden's gone for 12 weeks. So your depth is getting... Your depth
in
is
the halves,
in the halves is now. Well, you've got Bill. I mean, you've still got to run.
Yeah, but his best position's 9. You know, Jock Madden's there. He could play. He could. Not Jock Madden. Josh Rogers is there. He could.
Yeah, he could come in as well.
He could come in as well and do a job for them. But yeah, okay. Well, you know,
so the Broncos.
Ezra's back.
Ezra's back.
They're not gelling as a team, Dobbo. That's their big problem. They're not gelling as a team and working as a team. So I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but just looking at them, they're not playing as a team.
What would you do? Would you make changes? If you were coaching that side after the performance they put in...
no, not going to make... Look at the talent they got there. You don't need to make changes.
There's an issue on the edges,
They've got to rally them.
There's an issue on the edges. You know it as well.
Well, they don't have options there, mate. So, I think, they got to sort it out, The Broncos got... There's enough talent there to win the competition, Dobbo. So, it's up to them to sort it out.
Do you think they still can win the comp?
I think they can, yeah. Look at the talent they got there, mate.
They're sitting in 7th at the moment.
Yeah.
Like,
we've seen a lot of teams bounce around this year. Can the Broncos win it? Of course they can. Right now, would you think they could win it? No.
No chance.
No. There's better teams at the moment than the Broncos. But, again, peel the layers back and have a look at who's playing there. There's enough talent there. They'll have 4 or 5 Origin players. Probably more. And Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam to drop back into that side.
I don't know if they get 4. I think they get. I think, and this is when we talk about this, and I'd much rather talk about it on this paper. Yeah, they're gone
straight in.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Selwyn Cobbo, you would think would be.
Yeah, that's 3. But you tell me who else
in and around. Katoni Staggs for New South Wales.
No way.
Well, I know he's got a few in front of him.
No, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be
Ben
there.
Hunt was going to.
Yeah, well, I don't think he was going to be there either. I got tipped the other day that he was going to get dropped.
Right.
So that's 3. But I'm going to be honest with you. 2 middles where they've got a real issue in the middle. So they're huge outs.
They've got depth there enough depth there to cover that. You know, Xavier Willison. What's happened to Ben Takura? I watched him play.
Where did he play yesterday?
He had his best game yesterday. Ben Takura.
Well, he might become.
He'll get his. That's what we answered that question last week. When Origin starts, he'll get his opportunity.
When Takura goes.
Yeah, they got Marty Tapau playing. You know, Marty's still got some value in the NRL. Certainly, in shorter stints.
Yep.
So they've got enough talent there, even to cover when the Broncos lose their players to State of Origin.
Right. Okay.
Broncos done?
Okay. Let's talk about, just quickly, I just want to touch on GIO Stadium and that game. Is it the best half by an individual player this year in what Stephen Crichton did?
Yeah, well...
Down 20-0 at halftime. Stephen Crichton, who's 24 years old. Now, I know we're not going to focus on this game too much, but...
That was an amazing performance.
It was, like, I just watched it and was like, wow, okay. Those 2 teams are absolute heavyweights, but if you're a Bulldogs fan, and there's a lot of them...
Don't they travel too?
I've got to say now, you've got a team that can challenge for the comp. I had my doubts after what Brisbane did to them.
People did.
Yeah, but what I saw from a resilience, the fight back, I've got to be honest with you. And if you're Canberra, there's a lot of upside as well because that first half performance was just elite.
Yeah.
And then you can work on something like that.
Yeah, the old game of two halves, certainly into the fore. But Stephen Crichton, for most people, believe that he's a very good defensive centre.
Yeah.
But he showed everyone how good he is with ball in hand as well.
Yeah.
The couple of line breaks that he made, just, he's a big man as well.
Yeah.
Huge for a centre. Big,
Massive.
Strong. He's very athletic, a lot faster than a lot of people give him credit for. So he, by himself, dragged the Bulldogs faithful and their confidence and their ability to get themselves back into games all by himself. In 5 minutes, he got them back into the game. And it was a great performance by the Dogs and sent a message out, to everyone. But they've only been playing for 40 minutes as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
They won the second half against the Broncos when the Broncos belted them. Then they went down.
They beat the Titans.
And
then they beat Canberra.
And they beat Canberra in 40 minutes of football.
Yeah, but I've got to be honest with you.
So they can't do that. Like when the Raiders warm up and get the engine really humming and all the good teams, you got to play for 80 minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
To win the grand final.
I agree. Warriors, Luke Metcalf, 15, Dragons, 14. Good game, but the Warriors are going better. They'll take on this. But this 30-all draw up in... now, can I just give you, firstly, hats off to you, mate.
Is it? Dip your hat?
Yeah, I'm dipping my hat. Hats off to you. Your commentary was elite. The Tommy didn't try.
Oh, at the end
when you whipped him home, mate. I mean, seriously, Kevie, are the Panthers gone?
No, they're not gone. No, but again, I was a little bit.
They got up to 30 points to 18, 12-point lead.
2 times.
And then they allowed them back in.
Yeah, so it's not the Panthers of old, but they're scrapping, they're scrambling. The big guns are all there, up there as well, in Townsville, playing. So they'd be lucky. They were happy to get the 1 point. They could have left there with 0, and they could have left there with 2. So one is enough. I think for both teams, they'd be happy with the 1 point. Todd Payton was a bit critical of the referees in Golden Point and some of the decisions. That's been happening for a long time. I'm not a fan of Golden Point, Dobbo. I think after 80 minutes...
You get the 1 point.
1 point each, go home. And apparently it's for the fans, because the fans want to go home with either
with the
2
result.
points
I hate
or nothing.
I hate Golden Point.
I think, what do our fans think?
We should do a poll on that.
Let's do a poll. Do you like Golden Point? Are you a fan of Golden Point Rugby League? Because I'm not. Because after 80 minutes, if you can't find a winner, take a point each and go home. Be happy with that.
Okay. Righto. There's a couple of things out of there. What we've seen is there's Jackson Purdue is an out-and-out superstar. This kid, after, again, like, he's 18. Mate, what?
Well, they got some superstars up there. Purdue's one coming through.
And Dearden. Yeah.
Drinkwater is one of the better on his day. He had a field day, Dobby. He was the one who got him back in the game.
Stop it. Stop it. I love Drinky. He's a bloke. He's a good footballer. He's not one of the superstars of that team.
He's an elite player, mate, for the Cowboys.
Would you have Hammer or would you take Hammer or would you take Drinkwater?
What, as a fullback?
Yeah.
That's for another day, mate.
Come on, mate. Get off the fence.
I'm not on the fence.
Yeah, you are. You take the Hammer every day of the week.
Hammer's
They
a Queenslander. So there, I'll take Hammer.
They stuffed up.
I love it when the Queensland players play at the Queensland club.
They stuffed up. They should have got rid of Drinky.
Well, they didn't. Whoever was in charge. Was Toddy Payton in charge?
Yeah.
Everyone, you make mistakes like that as a coach. That happens.
Anyway, 30-all, that was a good game of football. I think Penrith, I don't know if Penrith can make the 8 from there. I just don't.
It's going to be tough, very tough. Yep. But you know what they will do? They'll
be a headache.
They'll be a headache for the top 8 teams,
mate, every team.
And those below them.
They're just going to go like a bazooka.
Because if they put it on, they'll beat anyone. We saw that with the Broncos.
Let's talk about the team that will put it on. 64-0.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, make a statement after a few poor weeks. West Tigers were ready to roll. Everybody was thinking,
can they win this game? No, you can't, Tigers.
No.
Sorry. And, Big Nelson was...
You said it.
He had his first game for them.
You said when
but it
Nelson
wasn't him who did all the damage. It was Pappenhausen, and he had a hat-trick after 17 minutes. And then scored another try in the second half. 4 tries. Pappenhausen.
When they get in a mood,
I don't like talking about New South Wales too much or the other side.
He's not going to get selected in that side.
No, but he could be a valuable person on their bench. I know he's not going to. There's a couple in front of him, but there's pound for pound and money for money,
he's elite.
There's not a better footballer
He's
in the
elite.
NRL than Ryan Pappenhausen. And when you consider what he's been through with his injuries, he's missed 2 or 3 years of football with knees and
Ankle.
the ankle injury.
Yeah.
That happened at Suncorp.
Yeah.
Playing
I'll
against
tell
the
you what,
Broncos.
he has had an...
Hats off to him, Dobbo.
He's a
tough
footballer.
little bugger.
Yeah, he is.
And he keeps showing up and doing it well for the Storm.
What do we think of Luai's old man? I mean, I love a proud dad, but he's gone straight onto Instagram and said, I think the words were, the get-out clause activated.
Yeah. Did he have to say that?
He deleted it.
Right.
I think it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it just creates a narrative. I get dads are passionate. I think sometimes you got to read the room. I think it was done in jest. I don't think it was serious because Jerome's come out and said he wants to be a long-term player at the club.
Yeah.
Geez, it's hard managing families around, because
social media now, mate. It's
they're
very
riding the
difficult
wave.
as a coach to manage the social media side of things. Benji said in his press conference that they just had no fight. He said it was pretty embarrassing, and he said he's not looking forward to the review. He said it's going to be hard to watch, but we have to do it and move on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a big stats man, as you know.
Yeah, go.
No team has won the premiership or made a grand final after being beaten by 50 points or after getting 50 put on them. So put a line through. I'm sorry, Tigers fans, you won't be winning the premiership this year.
Thanks, Einstein.
I'm just telling you, mate.
Thank you.
Put a line through the Tigers for premiers.
Right, they're gone.
That's the first team eliminated.
That's the only team you're going to eliminate?
At the moment, I'm probably not, but there's
okay, we're going to digress a bit.
No,
Can you give me 4 teams that won't win it this year? Just put a line through 4 of them.
No, I'll just put a line through one. I'll get to the others as the season progresses.
Okay, Kev's putting a line through teams. West Tigers, start prepping for next year. Kev said it, they're gone.
Well, I'm sort of having a bit of a joke, but, you know. Don't push me into a corner, Dobbo. I'm a nice guy.
Oh, I love you. Oh, that's made my day. I'm crying.
Here's your good. Cut that out, Dust.
No, it's not getting cut out. It's not getting cut out. The Tigers are done. West Tigers fans, I'm sorry. Kevie's just said you. Okay, last game. I think they're done as well. They're gone. Right. I would have done more, but you didn't want to go down that road. Okay, last is it made me laugh. 30 points to 14. Sharkies, too good. Manly are in some trouble again.
Yeah,
at home. The Sharky and the Sharks are starting to wind up. They played better.
Swim in the water, aren't they? In the shallow water. That's where they get their.
A lot of people said they were one of the top 4 teams. They're starting to show they really are.
It's their defence, Dobbo.
Yeah, Fitzy's got them. Fitzy's got
them. They can be there when it matters. But the Manly just had too many errors. You know, I think they had 14 or 15 errors for the game, which is too many against a good side like the Sharks. And the Sharks, for some reason, have the wood on Manly at Manly. When they play them at 4 Points Park, their win record there is really good. So no surprise, really. And Nico Hines, he's starting to answer a few of his critics. He was very good yesterday. A couple of try assists. He was involved in a lot of good things about the Sharks.
He was good. Get it done when the pressure's on.
Yeah. They got some good strike, the Sharks.
Yeah, they have. I love that Nakoro. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he runs good lines, and Iro's a good player for them as well.
Yep. Okay, so after 10 weeks, Dogs are leading the competition. Warriors 2nd, Storm 3rd, Raiders 4th, Sharks 5th, Cowboys 6th, Broncos 7th, and the Sea Eagles are 8th.
Right, so that's the top 8 at the moment.
That's the top 8 at the moment.
Who do we see pushing their way through into that 8?
I think the Roosters.
Yep, well, they're in 9th.
They're in 9th, and they had the bye. I think the Roosters, and I actually think the Dolphins can as well.
Dolphins into the 8? Well, that means someone's going to have to drop out, Dobbo.
So,
who you got coming out?
I don't think the Sea Eagles can sustain. They're going to lose Cherry Evans now.
And Travojevic.
And Travojevic for Origin.
Probably.
And I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced at the moment on the Cowboys.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
Probably need to see a little bit more defensively from them. I think they can make the 8.
Yeah, but if there's 2 teams, I think the Dolphins and the Roosters are the only teams that can make the 8, that are out of the 8.
Yep.
And I'm going to throw in the Broncos potentially could be at threat there as well at the moment.
Dobbs. Come on, mate.
Okay, well, Okay. Well, we'll see how they go against St George this week.
Well, they got the Dragons on Sunday.
So
we'll talk about that on Thursday.
Yeah, okay. This week, we have a new segment, and our major sponsor, Kratzmann, have a player on the move. Remember, their RV and caravan sale is on. End of financial year sale, savings up to $20,000 thanks to Kratzmann. Huge. Now, their player on the move. Who's your player on the move this week, Kev?
Yeah, easy one for me this week, Dobbo. Titans forward Beau Fermor. Plays in the back row, continually running for over 100 metres. He's put himself right in the frame for Origin selection in a couple of weeks' time. Well, the Origin team gets announced next Monday, so I believe he'll be in that squad. Whether or not he can squeeze his way into the 17, I mean, he's been in great touch. I mean, a lot of talk around David Fafita not playing for the Titans and the like, but this guy has really stood up, and he's been so good all season for them, along with Tino. But he's been the standout in the back row. He's been playing some great footy. I love his carries. He's strong. He's tough. He's built for Origin. I can see him in that squad somewhere.
And he's a Dolby boy. So you would suspect when he started up in Dolby, the parents, they would have had a Kratzmann caravan, and they're hauling the caravan around. He's a Dolby diehard, mate, so he started out there.
Well, let's go for him.
Mate, he is our player on the move, all thanks to Kratzmann this week. Beau Fermor, go you good thing. Righto. Let's talk about some of the other issues. Kev's questions, they're always big, and there's been a lot of them. Does Madge need to give the boys a longer leash to play to their strengths as you used to let them?
Yeah, I've just said that in the podcast earlier. I feel that they need to play to their strengths, and I don't feel like they're doing that at the moment for whatever reason. It may not be the coach's fault, it might be the players' fault, which they got to take some responsibility as well.
Zaz, do the Broncos need a sports psychologist?
They've got one. They've got one in there working with them at the moment.
What about your man, Mick Martin? Get him back.
No, Mickey's all right. You don't like Mick, but he's...
I like Mick. Mick doesn't like media as a general rule, but your man, Mick, I've always got on pretty well with.
Yeah, well, he's a protector of me, so you've got to understand.
Yeah, but
they do have a psychologist. Every team's got a sports psychologist working with them, so...
Yeah, thank you to Jake, who said, not a question, but love the podcast, especially how you talk about Queensland, miss living in it. So thank you, Jake. You got your Queensland hat on.
Well, it's 16 sleeps. Yeah, 15 now.
This is a good question from Karma Kelly. Yeah, should Carrigan go back to lock? Have Willison in the front row with Huss?
Well, I think that answers itself, doesn't it? Certainly. Carrigan to 13, Willison up front. I think that would be a good move. Certainly. Even Corey Jensen. He started all last year and did a great job as that third middle.
Yeah. Do you think Ezra plays straight away, coming back next week?
I think he'll go straight in, yeah.
Yeah.
And what we saw yesterday from him at South, he's a little bit rusty, but he did some good things enough to show us that he's ready to handle the NRL.
Claudia Crowd in 09. You know Claudia?
No.
Is it true you might be coaching the Gold Coast Titans in the future?
No, it's not true.
Yeah, I'll just answer that question.
Yep.
And all the rest of the questions. We appreciate it. Inside Ball. Now, can we talk about these tickets? That we are giving away Origin tickets to the game. But what we do need for you to do is to start to come up with your Origin side.
Who you think's in the Origin side?
Now, if you get the Origin side right, you go into the draw. Now, if there's more than one person who gets it right, and we'll draw it out, we'll draw it here, and you'll get 2 tickets to go to the Origin game.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So go to Inside Ball Podcast on Instagram and name your side. Send us, Darcy will collect all the sides. We'll happily read them out. If you get it right.
Now we go on the top 17 and
17.
Then the 18th man?
No 18th man. Just 1 to 17. 1 to 17. That side will be named next week. So you've got a week next Monday at 10:30. And then we'll obviously do a little bit around that. But your chance to go in to obviously have a real opportunity to win 2 seats. We've got 2 seats. It's not hard. You just have to name the side. And on Thursday, you're going to name a team that you think might get there.
Yep.
But we want you on Inside Ball to go on to the Instagram, name your side, and Darcy will actually get that question up. That's easy to do. Darcy's back from his little romantic trip.
Oh,
and
good
so
on him.
he's had
Well
a week.
done, Duff.
He's had a week to sort of think about and lick his wounds, think about what it's like to be part of a podcast.
We didn't get to the punting section as well.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. I got 2 out of the 4.
Well, I mean, seriously, mate.
2 out of 4 ain't bad. There's a song about that. Oh, no, that's 3 out of 4.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3. Just wipe that. Just cut that bit
No,
out.
that's another one. He's on fire today, boys. I tell you what, you are firing on all
I've had a big
cylinders.
Mother's Day, Dobbo.
Yeah, I bet you
I
did.
thought it was Father's Day.
Winger of the week. Greggy Marzu, I'm sorry.
No, he was injured. He got injured late.
I'm sorry.
He's won it already, Greg. He can't win it twice.
He can, because Jack did. Jack won it twice. I've got to say, they perform strongly as a general rule, but Greggy, a good man, you're my winger of the week. I mean...
No, he's not.
He is.
I'll tell you who is.
Who?
The Cowboys winger, Derby.
He had a bad week. He had a bad one.
Cut that out too. Geez, you're sucking me in today.
I'm not. Darby, Robert Darby, congratulations. You are right. I forgot about him. But,
thankfully, they got away with the draw and he scored a try. But the poor bugger. And he
came off his line.
I've had games like that.
Oh, come on.
I have. Like, where you just...
You just slipped the boot into him. Now you're backpedaling.
No, the harder you try, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And that was the case for Robert on Saturday night up there. Poor bugger. I felt for him, but we've all been through it. You'll be right, mate. He's a good player.
We will have a special guest for you this week. He's a legend. Kevie sat down with him, and that'll be released on Wednesday. Also, make sure you go to Inside Ball. Tell your friends just to go on and like us, because we have a huge chance. 2 tickets. It's in a little over 2 weeks' time. Mate, State of Origin.
Sold out. Unbelievable.
We'll catch you again next week. Wednesday for our legend. Thursday for our preview. It's going to be a big week. See you later, eh?